Today on Bridge City News, Lethbridge police are investigating after someone fired paintballs from a pickup truck at several people waiting outside the supervised consumption site. Prime Minister Trudeau is in France for the G7 summit and today met with UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson. And after a couple of weeks of relative peace, Hong Kong pro-democracy protests turn violent once again.
Your nation, your province, your southern Alberta. From the heart of Lethbridge, it's Bridge City News with Paul Arthur.
Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. Lethbridge police are investigating an assault with a weapon after paintballs were fired from a moving vehicle at several people outside the downtown supervised consumption site. There were no injuries, however. It happened early this morning, just after midnight. The suspect's vehicle is described as a white, newer model Dodge quad cab with a hard top box cover, black rims, and a stock Ram emblem across the back tailgate. Anyone with information is asked to contact police. The fight against homelessness got a bit of a boost today with the Shelter Me party in the Park Festival at Galt Gardens. The event is hosted by the McMahon Youth, Family and Community Services Association.
So the purpose of Shelter Me Party in the Park is to bring the community together to provide a low-pressure opportunity to learn more about homelessness and social issues that impact homelessness in our community. And you know, the community can do its part by just showing kindness to others. You know, I get people are in a hurry these days. I'm in a hurry these days, and just the power of a simple hello can change somebody's entire day from being an invisible person to being a member of the community.
Well, it wouldn't be August in southern Alberta without the Tabor Corn Fest. The city has been hopping since Thursday, with the midway in full swing, food, live music and entertainment, and of course the amazing, world-famous sweet corn, and even axe throwing. There were also some very cool antique cars on display with the Gear Lords Car Club Show and Shine. The Corn Fest wraps up later tonight with a fireworks display at 9:45. And we also have to say goodbye to our Lethbridge Whoop Up Days festivities tonight. It has been a great week full of fun activities. And for those of you who can't get enough of pancake breakfasts, there is still one more taking place tomorrow morning. Maranatha Christian Reformed Church on the west side will be flipping flapjacks from 8 to 10 a.m. with an outdoor worship service to follow. Who would have thought that all the practice you got climbing trees as a kid would one day actually help your professional career? In fact, professional arborists are putting those skills to the test in Lethbridge at the Prairie Chapter Tree Climbing Competition.
An arborist is a person who takes care of trees, climbs trees, or uses an aerial lift, but basically takes care of trees. And this competition is the Prairie Chapter region, which is Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba. So climbers from all three provinces. And the 5 preliminary events are necessary to determine the top finalists that move on tomorrow to the Masters Challenge to be the ultimate champion of our chapter, which qualifies them for the World Championships next year. So there's 5 different events. One of them is the work climb, which simulates working in a tree like what these guys do on a daily basis. Another category is throw line, which we use little strings with shot pouches to get bigger ropes into the tree. That's how arborists access trees without injuring them. No spurs. This is not a lumberjack competition. Then there is 2 speed events, which are, one is climbing rope to get up into the tree as fast as you can on rope, and one is actually climbing the tree to get up in the tree as fast as you can, climbing the tree. All of which are belayed for safety purposes, right? So to simulate the real work environment. And finally, rescue. How do you get an injured climber down out of the tree? That's the final event for today.
You can catch the Masters Challenge tomorrow at Kinsman Park from 10 until 3 p.m. An Ottawa man accused of viciously assaulting a 75-year-old Lethbridge woman in her home last May has been found fit to stand trial. 21-year-old Adam Hall Hobkirk-Onate allegedly punched the victim in the face and dragged her to the garage where she was hit multiple times in the head with a bicycle, leaving her with serious injuries. The accused will now be transported from Calgary to Lethbridge to review his psychiatric assessment with his lawyer and will appear in court on September 13th. School boards in Calgary and Edmonton want the province to reconsider a ban on the use of seclusion rooms for students. The previous NDP government passed an order for the ban to go into effect in September. Such rooms became an issue after the parents of an autistic boy filed a lawsuit that claimed the boy was locked in seclusion, naked and alone at his Sherwood Park school in 2015. But the chairs of the Edmonton and Calgary school boards say there are times when seclusion rooms are needed. Education Minister Adriana LaGrange says the ban will remain in effect for now, but the government will review feedback on the policy. A man on trial for allegedly murdering his two young daughters in Oak Bay, BC on Christmas Day 2017 has testified that he wasn't friends with the loan shark he claims had keys to his apartment. The Crown began its cross-examination yesterday of Andrew Barry, who says he only had a transactional relationship with a man named Paul to whom he owed thousands of dollars. The Crown alleges that Barry killed the girls and then tried to kill himself, but Barry says he was attacked in his apartment and did not murder anyone. An Ottawa City bus driver who crashed into a transit shelter in January, killing 3 people and injuring 23 others, is facing a slew of charges. 42-year-old Aissatou Diallo was charged yesterday with 3 counts of dangerous driving causing death and 35 counts of dangerous driving causing bodily harm, 1 count for each passenger on the bus. She surrendered to police and is slated to be in court on September 17th. A manhunt is on in Atlantic Canada for a convicted murderer. Police in New Brunswick are looking for 66-year-old Jack Woods, who failed to return to a minimum security unit Dorchester Penitentiary after he was granted an unescorted temporary absence. Corrections officials say Woods was staying at a community-based residential facility in Moncton when he left Thursday and didn't return. Woods has escaped custody before. A Canada-wide warrant was issued for him in 2011 after he fled to Nanaimo, BC from an Ontario halfway house. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has joined other leaders for the Group of 7 summit in France, where European Council President Donald Tusk is urging them all to find common ground. Today, Trudeau met with new British Prime Minister Boris Johnson, telling reporters they expect the global economy and climate change will be big issues at the talks.
Right, it's a real pleasure to sit down with Boris Johnson to congratulate you again. We had a great chat after your win, but now we get to connect on all the issues that we have ahead of us. Whether it's talk about the global economy is obviously going to be a big topic of discussion for us here at the G7. But also talking about trade and how we're going to make sure that there are great opportunities for Canadians, for Brits, for our companies and citizens to continue to succeed as we move forward in a world with significant challenges. We're also going to be talking about the environment, obviously, whether it's the challenges with the rainforests that are, of course, top of mind for everyone, or just the fight against climate change and for biodiversity. I very much look forward to working with you on these things.
We were thinking just as we came in, were there any real issues on which before the G7 today, in which the UK and Canada substantially diverge, and we whether it's the challenge of what's happening in the Amazon basin, biodiversity, the imperative of ensuring that every girl in the world gets the education that she deserves, sticking up for the global free trade system. Canada and the UK are side by side.
Tomorrow, Trudeau has the big meeting with U.S. President Donald Trump. Trump and French President Emmanuel Macron had a private lunch before the start of the G7 summit today. Macron says the leaders would be discussing a lot of crisis around the world, including Libya, Iran, and Russia, as well as trade policy and climate change. Trump was asked if he would follow through on his threat to place tariffs on French wines in retaliation for France's digital services tax. Trump was non-committal, saying only that he loves French wine. It was a chaotic scene as a large group of pro-democracy demonstrators clashed violently with police in Hong Kong this morning for the first time in nearly 2 weeks. Some protesters threw bricks and Molotov cocktails and also knocked down one of the new smart lamp posts. The concern is that the lamp posts will lead to increased surveillance using facial recognition technology. Hong Kong authorities insist that they only collect data on air quality and traffic. Also today, Simon Cheng, a worker from the Hong Kong British Consulate, was released after being detained in mainland China. Recapping one of our top stories this hour, Lethbridge police are investigating after someone fired paintballs from a pickup truck at several people waiting outside the supervised consumption site. There were no injuries, however. And a look at weekend weather, partly cloudy overnight with a 30% chance of showers and a low near 10. Mainly cloudy tomorrow, again with a 30% chance of showers and a risk of a thunderstorm in the afternoon. We should see a high of 19, along with a west wind gusting from 30 to 50. With science and technology becoming more and more advanced, could this mean humans can integrate with this and extend our lifetimes dramatically? Hal Roberts sat down with Dr. Fazal Rana to discuss the future of transhumanism. But first, here's a look at what's happening in and around your community.
Here's your Bridge City News Community Calendar. The 11th Annual Care for Kids Golf Tournament is taking place Thursday, August 29th at Paradise Canyon Golf Resort, benefiting the Lethbridge Food Bank and the Canadian Tire Jumpstart Program. $20,000 of the proceeds will go directly to children in our community to help them participate in sports and activities. For details on how to take part as a player or sponsor, visit lethbridgefoodbank.ca. Are you going through divorce or separation? Find support and encouragement with Divorce Care, a support group that will be meeting weekly, beginning Tuesday, September 10th at City Light Church from 7 to 8:30 p.m. Cost is $30 for the workbook. For more information, visit divorcecare.org or call John and Sandy Dick at 403-892-7046. And that's your Bridge City News Community Calendar.